Hi, my name is Chris Bonapace, Ameriprise Financial. Cofield and Associates is the private practice, and my unexpected hobby is bull riding.
Welcome to Unexpected Hobbies of Financial Advisors, the podcast where we interview fellow financial advisors about their pursuits and pastimes beyond their professional persona, some of which may be surprising to their colleagues and clients. We're interested in what makes them tick and how their unexpected hobbies might or might not relate to their everyday lives. Here's our discussion with this week's guest. Chris Bonapace. Welcome to the Unexpected Hobbies of Financial Advisors podcast. How in the world did you get into bull riding? We have to know. We've got to hear this story.
I'll give you the condensed story. So I graduated from Arizona State in 2008. Go Devils! And it wasn't my roommate, but he was the guy that lived right next to me. His name's Luke Conrad. Shout out to Luke. He just said one day, like, let's get on a bull, right? We never did. But then I graduated, and I'm a city boy from Detroit, Michigan, and there's not many. What do you know about rodeos and bull riding up here, right? So he found a school that you can go to. It's Sankey Rodeo Schools. Lyle Sankey runs it. He's a PRCA champion from way back in the, I think, 70s. Hopefully I got that right. Nice guy. So he still does it, right? The school. So we went out to, Luke's from Colorado. So we went out to Colorado, in Penrose, Colorado. I met Ty Ronaldo and Lyle Sankey. They're kind of like my coaches and mentors in this camp. It's like a weekend thing. And they put me on a bull. You obviously you don't just get thrown on a bull. They give you the equipment. They take you through some drills, and they load up the bulls at the end of the first day, and you hop on an easy one, and you're either hooked or you're never going to do it again.
Wait a minute. They don't like drag you to a local honky tonk and put you on like a mechanical bull, like after the bachelorette party's done. Like you don't just practice that way.
There is like a little spring-loaded bull that they put you on to kind of give you the mechanics of how it works, right? And in fact, I bought one, and it's in my pole barn on my properity.
That's
to
where
practice
we should
for
have been
these
doing this
things.
interview. Like you should have been on that thing the whole time. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean, it
sort
is
of kidding.
Friday, so
Yeah. No, go ahead. Sorry.
no. So yeah, you train on that thing, and you kind of get the motion of how to ride a bull, because it's a lot of people, when they think about bull riding, and you'll see it on the mechanical bull at the bachelorette party, right? People will lean back, and and that's like a bronc in a rodeo, right? With a bull, it's almost completely different. In fact, it's kind of a joke. We say bronc riders and bull riders. Bronc riding is 90% physical, 10% mental. If any bronc riders are watching this, you get
Shots
it,
fired. Okay.
right? And bull riding's 90% mental, 10% physical. In fact, good bull riders, which I'm not a good bull rider, but I've ridden with good bull riders. It's like ballet. I mean, it's a real violent thing, right? And it can be real dangerous, but it's almost like you're in the eye of the hurricane when you're riding a bull. And if you do it right, I mean, it looks beautiful. It's a judge sport like figure skating, which is a weird comparison, right? And the bulls scored 1 through 50, and the riders scored 1 through 50. So you got to have a good bull, and you gotta do your part, 8 seconds, and yeah. So we just jumped on bulls, and he fell off and hurt his hip because he's a big dude. Never did it again. Me, I couldn't get enough of it and started to do it. And it's it's not like there's a semi-professional like you pay to enter these things, and you can win money, right? Have I won money? You're probably wondering. No. I'm not that good, but I've gone to the practice pens and gone to the rodeos. Not much anymore, but
S-
yeah,
So would you
it's
consider
something
yourself
else.
like an adrenaline junkie? I mean, is that what this is? This just a continuation of like you've jumped
Yeah,
out of airplanes and that's not good enough now, so you need to strap yourself onto a,
it's it's,
a 1 ton animal.
it's funny that you brought that up because I won't jump. I hate flying. I won't jump out of an airplane. It scares the hell out of me. It's like it's weird because in bull riding, I feel like I'm in control. You know,
Do
you're
you?
shaking your head and laughing. I mean, it's true. Um, I do feel in control. Like with an airplane, what are you jumping out of a perfectly good airplane for? So,
That's fair.
uh, but yeah, I mean, as a financial advisor and CFP, right? You guys know talking to a bunch of us is like we're total risk managers, right? So maybe it's I have to be a risk manager and in this like risk on environment all day or risk off environment all day, like trying to talk about mitigating risks and all that stuff. And then I just let loose after that clock is punched out, you know?
So you
So
mentioned being scored on a scale of 1 to 50. What makes a good bull and what makes a good rider? What puts you closer to 50?
so it's a good question. So bulls judge on like five things. I got to remember them. It's buck, which is like kick, rear, which is the jump, power, speed, and spin, I believe. Something. So you got, I think, three or four judges at these PBR, the top level events, and they're each judging the scale, bull and rider. So the bull has to be powerful. It's got to be spinning. Direction changes are taken into consideration. If the bull's just really flat and spinning, and it, you know, at the professional level, they'll actually throw a flag, like a challenge flag, re-ride flag, and they'll say you get another one because the bull didn't do its job. You, as a rider, you got one job. If it's pretty, cool, but if it's ugly, 8 seconds. That's the goal. Don't let your hand slide out of the rope and your head hit the ground. Don't pull your hand out of the rope before your head hits the ground, as some guys say. So it's yeah, and that'll get you in some trouble too. But um
Okay.
yeah, it's definitely not usual for a financial advisor, especially with like I don't think I've met one person with a master's degree that is in the bull riding. Uh,
Go figure. Okay.
education and like like these safe things to do and bull riding. Like it just I don't think it all mixes together, but in my head it does. So
So do you have to travel to enjoy this hobby or can you do it nearby close to your home in Michigan?
yeah, so yeah, they're all over the place. Um, they are pretty far. I mean, there's a rodeo circuit called Super Kicker Rodeo production that just does Michigan. So a lot of the state fairs, there's the mid states and rodeos, and the International Pro Rodeo Association, IPRA. They've got little deals in all these like little state fairs, and they add about $500 to $1,000 to the pot, and all the bull riders enter for 50, 75, $100, and then the payback is so the production company will take like 25% off the entry fees, and then the rest from the bull riders will go to the pot too. So the $1,000 swells up to 1,500 or whatever, and a couple guys ride, and they're bringing home a pile of cash. Um, so yeah, they're all over. I usually come out of retirement for one a year because I'm 39 years old now. So I mean, this is a young man's sport, and I am an old dog in bull riding now. But Armada Fair is in August, and I usually come out and I usually talk to the rodeo, the super kicker, like the MCs, right, that are announcing and telling, the rodeo clown that tells jokes and stuff. And they'll make jokes about how I'm a financial advisor and stuff. And I like it because, you know, any press is good press, right? So talk about me all you want.
So you talked about the risk on and risk off mentality. And so, is there anything that you've learned from this hobby that's more applicable to financial advising?
Yeah, I mean, well, you know, I'm really good at compartmentalizing things, right? Like, so if something doesn't go right or if things go wrong in your job, you just kind of put it in a box in your brain and just put it aside, right? Like client that you thought, hey, you had a good relationship, ACAT's out, goes to Fidelity because they're charging nothing, right? Or whatever. Um, you know, you gotta you got more clients to deal with. So put that in a box and, cry about it later, I guess. In bull riding, it's the same thing, but it's with fear. Like sometimes I go to these rodeos and I remember this vividly. You get there and you're like, what the hell am I doing? Like, what am I doing? Like it's like real visceral fear. Like it's like a mix of butterflies and just like, are you dumb? Uh, because I mean, you do. There's a thought every day that you do it that you could die doing this. Like that definitely crosses your mind. But when you and if you watch bull, I don't know if you guys have, if you get watched PBR or any bull riding, when you slide down in the chute is what it's called, the little box that the bull's in. When you slide down in that chute, nothing is in your head except the job that you're gonna. It's crazy. Just your brain just forgets about everything else, and it's like it's actually quiet, and you got thousands of people. It's really cool. I mean, like that's the cool part about it. It's like thousands of people, music's blaring, everybody's eyes are on you, and you just hope it goes well.
So you got that fear, the recognition you might die. Is there a moment that's in the past or in the future? Are you chasing a feeling, or what keeps bringing you back? Is there a moment that
Yeah,
you remember that's the
I
essence of,
mean,
"This is why I do this"?
Garth Brooks, yeah, Garth Brooks wrote a song about it. It's called "The Fever." So if you listen to "The Fever," that's about bull riding, and it is like chasing a feeling. So, and actually, he mentions Lyle Sankey in that song. I think it was Chris Ledoux maybe initially wrote it. It's Chris Ledoux and Garth Brooks, and I think Garth Brooks might have. I mean, yeah, Google that song and listen to it. That's my mentality. It's he he ain't right. Like
You have to have an amazing support system to. I'm just thinking of the people that are in kind of my circle of trust. Like none of these people is crazy of projects that I'm doing and keeping myself entertained. Like no one would ever let me do this. Like talk to us about that. Like you're just like, oh, I'm just a loner, and I do what I want, and that's fine.
yeah, so like my mom, she's still, I think she's been to one rodeo, and that was like the Armada Fair 2 years ago. She was uh, like the most um super supportive, but like super like if my son gets hurt, I'm gonna lose my mind. Right. My dad he's always tough love, and he'd come to these deals all the time. But yeah, but my mom tried to bribe me to stop. Like, I'll give you, $5,000, and I should have taken that and invested it, but I didn't. My ex-wife was uh traveling with me, and she was pretty supportive back in the day when I actually do that a lot. But now it's slowed down a little bit, but you meet great friends, all crazy, and it's just like a kind of gypsy circus almost. All the bull riders and barrel racing girls. It's really interesting. I mean,
If the MC rodeo clown is making sport of the fact that you're a financial advisor, You're, I guess, one of the only ones out there. Not a lot of people, or have you had the chance to meet other professionals in the field, or develop any clients or business relationships from the hobby?
Yeah, yeah, I'm the only financial advisor or probably a real white collar professional that does bull riding. Um, but yeah, Mike, the Armada Fair, it's kind of cool because like I've got some farmers in the area that are clients and they hate when I wear suits, so they love when I do the rodeo because I mean, I kind of am a suit, right? At the end of the day, managing tens of millions of dollars in yeah, being like meeting with CFOs and CEOs, like, yeah, I'm kind of a suit, but these farmers that I also like, I put on the jeans and the boots and the hat, and that's how they want me to meet with them too. So I'm kind of a chameleon. And up here in the farm country that I live in, people love, and I do too. I like just the realness of it, right? Like I can adapt to any situation, but this is one that I'm really comfortable in.
Even in the farm world, there's all sorts of different farms, of course. Are there clients, colleagues, friends that you have that you've been able to get interested in rodeo and bull riding that didn't already feel the pull?
I don't really know if I've ever gotten anybody interested in it. My girlfriend now is, I think, that's actually how we matched on a dating site. Is she was actually at the Armada Fair. I was at a golf outing last year, so I couldn't ride, and she was wearing her profile picture said "dibs on the cowboy." So that was like if anybody on that's listening on Hinge, I shouldn't even put this out there. I mean, she'd say we met at the grocery store, right, or something. But I said, "Hey, cowboy here," and she matched with me, and the rest is history. So, I guess she's interested in rodeo a little bit now and bull riding a little bit now. But then again, she's also like, "Well, I like the fact that you do it. It's intriguing, it's interesting, but I don't want you to get hurt." So, everybody's like that's close to you is really worried too. And you're
So,
the only one that's not.
what do you think is going to be the triggering event that makes you finally say, "I've ridden my last bull"? Are you just waiting for one bad injury, or you just for your mom to meet the right price?
I don't I yeah. It's like when you go on the airline and they're overbooked, so they just keep raising the price up.
Sold.
Yeah, $2,000, I'll take that. No, I don't know. I mean, I feel I think it keeps me young. It for me, one of the things when I first started in this profession is you tend to work a lot. You kind of neglect your physical health. I started. I had a private practice of Ameriprise now, but I started at Ed Jones, and we were beating the streets, my buddies and I, and knocking on doors and stuff. And you're sun up to sundown. You're prospecting, right? Like that's how it was. And you kind of don't want to go to the gym after doing that all day, right? You're just mentally, physically exhausted from you know all that activity. So you don't do anything, you become like a fat swamp sow. Uh, well, bull riding, and I also play rugby, so totally risky as well. Those one, I'm with the young dudes that like I'm like, all right, I gotta compete with them, right? And two, it's like, all right, well, if I don't work out in my spare time, I'm gonna really get messed up when I do this. So it actually I think it just behaviorally is a way for me to trick my own mind into working out and rowing every night on the erg in my living room, and that's my healthiness. Got to stay in shape because I've seen my friends around me get, you know, big and fat, right? So I use one bowl a year as motivation not to get big and fat and lazy.
Yeah, yeah. If only Weight Watchers had thought of it. You can do bull riding for your health.
Well, yeah, it's like behavioral finance, right? Like you got to trick your mind somehow, but this is not, it's behavioral, uh, you know, health, I guess.
If somebody was interested in exploring the hobby, getting into it, and they didn't wanna quite go as far as going to school in Colorado, what should they do to learn more about the activity and the hobby?
Yeah, so Sankey Rodeo Schools isn't just in Colorado. They travel the country, so coming to a location near you, I think they go to Ohio. They might go to Indiana. They definitely go, Lyle lives in Branson, Missouri. So that's where his home base is, but they do the the whole country and do little camps. So you can go to Sankey Rodeo Schools and find that out. It's another guy out there, Gary LeFew. He's also a champion bull rider from back in the day. He actually, uh, fun fact about him, he's the guy when you watch Jackass and Johnny Knoxville, um, that's at LeFew's ranch. Um,
Oh.
so he's another guy that travels and does these little camps. So you look out for those two guys, and they, you can get sometimes. You can just go on Facebook now and find like JB Mooney's got probably a camp, and there's a bunch. Cody Custer's got a camp, and those guys you kind of trust. But then there's some people that also have bull riding schools and whatever, and you got to look at their credentials because if you get on a real tough bull, like a PBR bull, because these guys will have these older PBR bulls and some are up and coming, but you get on a professional bull and that's your first bull, uh, you're going to get, as we call it, chili womped, and you're going to get seriously hurt. I mean, I got on a PBR bull, like if you think of baseball, it's like AAA, but the World Series of AAA. Bull's name was Tombstone. Uh, not making that
Yeah,
up.
there's your sign.
And there's just so I got on him and he threw me up in the air and I landed on my back and I was like, that's not that hurt. But then we ran him back in and then he stepped on my leg and I had to go to the hospital after that one. So didn't get on him a third time, but you know, uh, you gotta have the right person putting you on the right stock, right? Rodeo livestock, rough stock. Um, so yeah, you gotta find somebody you trust.
Very much like our own profession. There's a FINRA broker check. Make sure somebody's gonna match you
Yep.
up right with the right risk
Yeah,
profile.
somebody that's got a little history doing it. Yeah, exactly.
All right. And that sort of leads straight to my next question. What do you wish somebody had told you when your roommate across the hall said, "Hey, let's give this a try." If somebody could have told you, "Watch out for Tombstone," or his brother, Red Flag, what's the you wish you would have heard going in?
Um, probably nothing. Like I don't want like when you go to rodeos, a lot of guys will say because when you go to a rodeo, you go with your gear, you pay your entry fee, you don't know what you draw a bull out of the hat, right? Um, some guys in the contractor comes with his livestock trailer and brings his bulls, and every bull that a rider gets on, he gets paid for that. So, the notion of the riders there to do a job, but the bulls are actually like they are they're well taken care of. It's not animal abuse. If we mess with the bull or hurt the bull anyway, uh, the stock contractor he'll kick our ass. I mean, like behind the chutes, what you don't see, like it's an old cowboy, an old man's man, right? Like they'll beat you up if you harm their bull. That's their livelihood, right?
Right.
Um, so a lot of guys will go up to the contractor and say, "Oh, well, what does this bull do? Is he mean?" Or what? I don't want to know. I don't want to have any preconceived notion. Is he mean? Is he not mean? Every bull's mean, right? And I don't want to know if he goes right or if he goes left because then you start to get it in your head and you have expectations and you can psych yourself out. So I just like let it come to me, right? It's all dangerous and it's all just take it minute by minute.
Before I joined the financial advisory world, I was in the family business. We do artificial breeding for dairy cows. So we've spent a
Okay.
lifetime. Bulls are bad, bulls are diseased, bulls are genetically inferior. You want nothing to do with the bull. So, so everything you're saying about how mean they are is yes, exactly. Do they still have their horns, and are they intact from a physiological perspective?
Yeah, they're intact. We don't tie the bull's junk up, right? What makes a bull buck is there's a cotton flank strap, and you can see it when you watch PBR or rodeo on TV. It's around their flank, as appropriately named flank strap. And that flank strap, as the bull leaves, is snugged, not tightened, because then they'll just stop. Snugged. And what they're trying to do is when it's snugged, they have that feeling, so they kick back. They're trying to kick it off, which makes the bull difficult to ride. They're naturally predisposed to bucking, right? The American bucking bull. But yeah, so that's kind of how that goes.
But then, yeah, and then
Um
you see usually then when the rider is then off the bull after 8 seconds, of course. But either way, isn't like a rodeo clown or somebody like come up and grab that and like take it off of them like right away? Isn't that part of the protocol then? So they stop bucking.
yeah. So the bulls are pretty trained to and they are trained. There's actually when they're young, there's a little box that goes on them, and it's an electronic box. So they buck these little yearlings and calves, and then they'll press a button and the box will fall off, and then they'll stop bucking, and then they'll go back into a chute, and then they pull the flanks or the flank strap off.
Okay.
Is there a specific breed? Are they bred for this activity?
Yeah, they're bred to box. So like the Bramer Bull out of Brazil, I think is the one with the big hump. Uh, those mixed with, I think the American Bucking Bull came with those mixed with the Mexican Fighting Bull. So if you have a little bull, if you get a little bull that's a fighting bull, like, and it's got a lot of that predisposition, you just bet it's mean. It is meaner than you get thrown off. Sometimes you're even on its back and it's looking back at you, trying to hook you a little bit while you're on its back. I mean, all they want is you on the end of their horn. Um, and the horns are blunted to like a $50. Um,
Oh,
so
okay.
they tip them so you can't get skewered. Um,
Just bruised.
but it is like getting hit with a baseball bat. I mean, they're stupid strong bulls. I mean, those barrels that the rodeo clowns in telling jokes is probably a couple 100 pounds, and they'll flip that thing up like it's nobody's business.
2,000 pounds, right? And not flabby either.
No, no, no flab whatsoever. When you wear the spurs, the spurs are designed, they're blunted so you can't, you don't hurt the bull. But the bull's skin kind of has like rolls, and you're just gripping the bull with your spurs. Yeah, and it doesn't hurt it, but that's what you do. So there's no flab whatsoever, but the skin rolls is what you kind of grip onto as you ride. Kind of like my dog back there, Beef. He's got a lot of those same, not no flab, but beefy.
Cool, cool. I'm real pleased to hear you talk about the welfare aspects of 25 years in dairy and the
Yeah.
trade publications filled with how do we take great care of these animals, make sure they're at their best and they can do their best and live in harmony with each other. So pleased to hear that's on your side of the business as well.
Yeah. I mean, it in the PBR, you think like the bucking bull of the year is $1 million winner, right? Like the bull. So the stock contractors are all incentivized to have those things living in the best conditions, right? Now, granted, you can go to a bull or a bull riding, and the bull can break its leg, and I've seen that happen. And it's just like going to a horse race, and the horse breaks down on the track, and it's sad. Like, it's sad. It's just like, when a football player gets injured, the Lions player Utley, I think, from the 90s, and he broke his neck on the field. It's sad, and it happens. It's part of the sport. It's not anything we want, and it's rare, but yeah, it's I mean, we try and keep keep these things, these bulls as comfortable as possible to keep them, working, right? That's their job. I guess it's better than the alternative, which is hamburger. So
There is that.
For the record, my shirt says, "Save a cow,
I
eat a
I
vegetarian."
was gonna say, that's very apropos for today.
All right. Well, we could talk about this much, much, much longer. But if people wanted to go and find out more about you on the hobby side or on the professional side, where do they go to learn more about Chris Bonapace?
Yeah, so, my LinkedIn, is pretty up to date. I don't think I have anything about rodeo or bull riding there.
Well, that's why
Maybe
we do this.
maybe you should. You will soon.
Yeah, yeah, my Instagram is, I think it's at C Bonapace. Um, my, Twitter handles at bonbon0007. Don't ask me what that is. But yeah, LinkedIn, I'm on the independent side of Ameriprise, so practice name Cofield and Associates. We've got a team page up there and CFP website. You can find me there. But yeah, I mean, LinkedIn's probably the best spot to reach me.
And at the county fair.
Speaking of planning topics, I imagine you're just an underwriter's dream, right? For life insurance and disability and things like that, right?
Yeah, yeah, totally. I mean, do they ask you that question in disability underwriting? Do you? Yeah.
Dangerous hobbies? No, I would never skydive.
No, not at all.
I mean, now skydiving is in there, but
Like
is
jumping on an angry animal.
bull riding?
Nobody cares.
I don't remember, but I've
Yeah,
never
they
sold
should
it.
probably put. Yeah, they should put not limited to. But how do you I don't know. I gotta ask. I should talk to my underwriter about that.
Yeah.
Or not.
Probably be a good question. Just hypothetically, no reason.
Asking for a friend. Yeah.
Definitely not because I was on a podcast talking
Not at
about it.
all. This is for entertainment purpose only. We assume you're lying about everything. It's the
Yeah,
entirely fiction
what?
podcast.
It definitely doesn't say rodeo time on it.
No.
Well, thank you so much for joining us here today and talking about this hobby that you love so much. We're grateful to have you on and looking forward to our listeners. Well, oh, heavens. Okay.
Looking good over there.
Yeah, I meant to put it on in the intro, and here we are. Now at the end, I'm gonna get it for the outro. Yeehaw! Thanks for coming on, Chris. Really interesting. Really
Appreciate you
great
guys having
topic.
me.
Hope to maybe get up to Michigan and see you before you hang up your spurs.
Yeah, I'd love to have you guys, and first round's on me.
Right on. Thanks a lot.
All right, cheers, guys.
Unexpected Hobbies of Financial Advisors is brought to you by Fiduciary CFO, forward-thinking tax and planning solutions for business owners, like RIA firms and their business owner clientele. The opinions of Brian, Joshua, and their guests are for entertainment purposes and should not be construed as legal, tax, financial, or investment advice. You should know better than to take any of this content seriously. Thanks for being a fan of the show. If you were listening and thought to yourself, hey, I know somebody they need to have on the show, you can do something about that. Go to unexpectedhobbies.com/nominate and tell us who they are and what they do that's so interesting and unexpected. If we agree, we'll send them an invitation and we'll hope they say yes. Now it's unexpectedhobbies.com/nominate.